Yeah, this instance where track school was relieved, this was the beginning of the end, unfortunately. You're going to hear different horsemen that could give you their take on what happened from their point of view.
I was actively running horses during Traxco's tenure here. And yeah, they weren't perfect. My stall leaked like a sieve. When it rained, I went through about 12 bales of shaving to keep my horse's feet dry. So were they perfect? No. So do we need to expect our new situation to be perfect either? No.
Well, you know, it got a lot of opinion out there about what happened with Trasco. How come, well, they say horseman this and horseman that, but this is my take on that, right? My opinion. Because I done it, and I got different version of what I saw and what I know, you know. Because I in the game. Trasco, they had a 10-year lease. Their 10-year lease was coming to an end, right? And but they had to meet certain criteria and evaluation. So at the time, I think at the time the commissioner of Sports Park and Recreation, well, he gave them a, I think a go ahead to do the next 10 years, right? Without actually, I guess, speaking with the horse owners who, you know, find a lot of faults in Trasco moving forward. You know, the facility itself, you know, was really run down, and the bonds and so needed repair, and they wasn't doing stuff like that. And we wanted to see improvement because we familiar with the game, you know, owners, trainers here, and they wasn't living up to what we wanted or what expected of them to run horses and the horse racing and that level, you know, close to the standard all over the world, you know, just with the professionals. And so, I mean, being in it so long, we were tired of just running mediocre races, and we wanted good professional racing, and they wasn't meeting that. Take for the sun, you know, they never do a complete like overhaul of the sun and the racetrack itself, because I had some situation there with the racetrack from time to time, you know.
You know, if you look at the number of breakdowns on tracks across the states versus the number of breakdowns that happened here in live racing on St. Croix, I don't know the statistics, but you'd be astounded. In all my years of racing here, I only personally saw one horse die on the track here. In the States, 6, 7 a day is not uncommon. So for all the people who tell us, like, oh, you guys are backwards, you're not up to current, you know, racing standards, I deeply disagree.
The racetrack was, the last time the racetrack had a resurfacing was by a company named V.I.A.C.A.E, who used to run the racetrack at one time. And that same dot is what we survived on for all them years with Trasco and Trasco. And we didn't see no improvement moving forward with nothing with Trasco itself. You know, at one point with us now, they wanted to go back to a lesser cost. I think we stopped at 40 something, you know, exactly 40 something $1,000 per race day. They wanted to go back down to 20,000 and use some other monies that the horsemen and money, which we used to do it, but you know, for them to tell me what to do with ours wasn't right in our eyes. So we're now next issue with Trasco was being that they got the rights, right, and they documented, right, to say, okay, they could have get it 10 years. So we had a problem with it, like I was saying, with the pause. So our next, being that we had problems there, the association turned to the arbitrators, because when you got issues like that, then when you had I forget the name, but we went to the arbitrators, and all the arbitrators recused themselves, but it wasn't available or nothing like that. And so I mean, I didn't know why, but and that's a procedure. So from arbitrators we went to the court, and up to this day we ain't hear nothing from the court. So that's why now thing coming now, and this new company, and the government didn't take the right step, as the governor, whoever in charge, so I've thrown them out like that, because the horse owners, they ain't had nothing to do with that. Yeah, they ain't had nothing to do with that. It was the government itself, you know. We went through we tried going through arbitrators and courts, so we could have come to a reasonable power structure for the races, you know, and that didn't happen. But back to this, the surface, right? Right now, V.I.A.C.A.E brought in some sand, and we had some sand from previous year. It's sitting there on the racetrack. It looked like some nice sand. One good thing, they expanded the racetrack to a mile track, man. And that's something very important in the horse racing. For a track to be a mile track, it kind of give a lot of leadway too, to open up to outsiders to want to come to travel, you know, to race, to compete. That's something we look forward to, you know, for that expansion, and have competition coming from the outside with the racetrack, the surface itself. And so hopefully we get all that sand what they have out there, put on the racetrack, set it up right, and we should have a nice mile track. So, and that's a good thing about St. Croix racetrack, you know. It's in a good place to be competitive with this mile track. You got so much to do on this big open racetrack here, man. So hopefully we get it going. Hopefully.
The association that was there, that was running the track at Trasco, I don't think they was all that bad, because we was having races. We was having races there. For some reason, the base person, I heard that they was running for Trasco. Trasco intend to drop it. One way I think it was 5,000 a race day to 25. I think 5,000 a race day to 25,000 or something. I mean to 2,500 for the base person. Those people decide no, they didn't want to run for that. That how they've been up to a certain money with Trasco, and the money's supposed to keep going up. Have I heard yearly that it's supposed to go, if it's up to 40, it's supposed to go over 40 the next year. I didn't know much about it, but for what I get to understand and I get to see, that someone else came in here to the island, so they want to deal with horse racing. And when that person came, the people in the racetrack there, they decide that I heard one of them saying that they have a new company. Some guy was acting and telling him, I heard you got a new company now. How do you got a new company coming? Yeah, man, we got something big, the guy replied and telling him. We got something good now. Yeah, man, we got to get rid of it. When he replied, the one that was asking him that replied about Trasco, he said, yes, we got to get rid of it. It was looking good to them in the beginning. It was never looking good to us, the riders, because horse racing was being sabotaged at that time, and that's our job, our sole source of income. Next thing you know, they thought they had a better franchise than Trasco, and they started pushing Trasco out of there. When they started to push Trasco didn't make no fight with them. Trasco leave and come out. That's when we stopped having races. I think having Trasco Day was better because we might have been racing till now.
I think that Traxco getting pushed out was kind of all who owed who favors, who owed who money. And I think we were just used as pawns in other people's big money promises. And we got the short end of the stick with no...
They might have decided that they're going to put back up the money, start doing what they're supposed to do fairly. I think they might have been wrong doing that to drop the money. They say that they wasn't making anything. I've been in the States riding horses already, and that's where I went to learn to race riding in the States, and I see a little bit there. Certain times you'll be running in a track there, a track will be operating there this year, and next year the owner of the track will be telling you that they're dropping the purses. The most thing that will happen is that much horses wouldn't come there. The horses that been there for the meet before, some of them wouldn't be coming back because they will be complaining about the purse dropping. They will go to our next track, but the track don't usually close. For here now, we only got one racetrack. And when Trasco decide, when the people decide they weren't running for what Trasco said, they're gonna put for us to run for. Trasco, they decide no, they don't want Trasco, and Trasco was out. They started saying that they have a new organization to run the track. From then to now, the track is still closed. We don't know what is going on.
You asked what I think was the problem with Trasco. Trasco didn't want to pay the taxes at the racetrack. Trasco said the taxes was too high. Trasco turned around and Trasco now reneged on the deal. When we was in our 10th year, they wanted us to go back to our first year to pay at 22.5. They didn't want to do the improvements and things that was needed to the track. So with that, they tried to bring me back to 22.5. That couldn't work. We done been 10 years into the contract. If they had do what they supposed to do the improvement to the tracks and do the improvement where they had to do it, we wouldn't have had a problem. We'll have been racing and won't be in this predicament today. So they have us in this predicament by believing they could have do what they want with us, you know. Yeah.
We're just going back quickly to chat about the hearing that was at the end of Traxco's tenure, whether they were going to keep their contract, lose their contract, whether V.I.A.C.A.E was going to come in, the state of horse racing and its effect on the culture of the Virgin Islands. And I just remember leaving that meeting and telling my friends as we were leaving the meeting, if we see a racetrack on this island in the next 6 years, I'll be astounded. And we're about 8 years out, but nothing yet. I just feel in my gut from watching racing, from watching the politics that goes on around racing, that we were just used as pawns by other people in political power, other people with way bigger pockets and deeper resources than us. I feel like we were just used as a pawn in their game for them to get their other interests satisfied. I love the demographics for the cover. I feel like it really sums up how I feel about all of us. We are just pawns in other people's big money political game of what they want or what they think they should get out of the racetrack. I think the horsemen are just the pawns at this point, which is really discouraging.
As a filmmaker, there are things that happen behind the scenes that are sometimes a better story than the production itself. I have a lead cover artist. If something is not broke, I don't try and fix it. So my lead cover artist was missing in action, and I recruited a local one that have great talent. But they made a cover without any of my materials. You know what I mean? But they took my idea and did what they wanted. sometimes it's good to showcase what goes on behind the scenes. Enjoy. Good art, but I can't use it because I didn't follow, my protocol, getting permission. The photos that didn't come from me. You know what I'm saying? The title is called From Kings to Pawns. You know what I mean? However, on a small island, you never know who is who, or maybe they try to show me what really going on. But, my focus is to show how the Aswan are in the predicament today. And my lead cover artist connected with me, and she does what she does best.